doctor doesn't know the definition of disability for ERISA disability purposes, and they won't complete an APS form. What should I do? I hear that question, I think, every day. Let's start out. Let's get the policy or plan and read the definition of disability and occupation. If your doctor says, I don't understand this, then we can actually take this information out of the policy or plan and say, doctor, here's the definition of disability. Here's how my occupation is defined. And that's important because your doctor needs to know what's the standard of disability under the terms of your particular policy or plan. There's no uniform definition of disability or occupation. The reason that that's important is that the disability carrier plan doesn't really want your doctor to address the question of disability or your ability to perform your own occupation or any occupation. And what they're trying to do is to have your doctor use some sort of a generic definition that they've created in their own head and then potentially attack the doctor's application of their own personal definition of disability or occupation. It's your job to prove your claim. And what we want to be able to establish is to have your doctor and you understand what is the definition of disability. Is it the inability to perform the material and substantial duties of your occupation? Well, what's the definition of occupation? So that you can say to the doctor, look, in filling out these forms, I want you to understand the definition of disability and occupation. And then let's talk about what it is you need to say to help me get my benefits. Now, even if your doctor would write a letter saying that you are disabled, the disability carrier or plan would throw it in the garbage can. So what's the best thing your doctor can do for you to help you get your benefits? Well, again, they want your physician to complete this attending physician statement form. And if the doctor just says, well, look at my chart notes, that isn't going to cut it. What the carrier wants to know, in essence, is how long you can sit, stand, walk, stoop, bend, how much can you lift? Do you have to alternate sitting and standing? Do you have problems with your upper extremities? Can you do sustained work activity for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? Again, I always supplement the APS form with the applicable Social Security residual functional capacity form because it asks broader questions and questions that are, I think, more relevant to whether or not you can do your own occupation or any occupational duties, including information about the need to take breaks, concentration, pace, absenteeism. Let's switch gears a moment here. Let's say that you are at the any occupation stage of a claim. What will happen is that the burden of proof, again, remains with you, but the game changes. If you can perform any type of sedentary work, the disability carrier plan has a fair reason to deny your claim or terminate benefits. So what is sedentary work? Well, sedentary work requires that you sit for 6 hours out of an 8-hour day, stand or walk intermittently 2 hours per day, and occasionally lift 10 pounds and frequently lift lighter objects. You want to make sure that your medical records and a properly completed APS form or RFC form address that sedentary type of limitations. Why can't you do sedentary work? Why do you have problems sitting? Do you have to alternate sitting and standing? Why? Do you have to take frequent breaks or have problems using your hands in a repetitive fashion? Why? So you want your doctor to address your restrictions and limitations. Obviously, we would prefer that they're less than sedentary, but we want your doctor to address what it is specifically about your medical condition that precludes you from doing sedentary work or even less than sedentary work. So what should you do if your doctor refuses to complete an APS or residual functional capacity form? Now, I think your physician should be talking to you about your ability to do work-related activities and then exercise their professional judgment to determine whether your claimed limitations are consistent with the nature of your medical impairment and what they know about you. Doctors do this every day. And if they say that they can't do it or they won't do it, it's time to change physicians. In my view, it's as simple as that. You cannot win one of these cases. You can't stay on claim unless your doctor is willing to cooperate and help you by documenting in your chart your symptoms and functionality and completing these forms. So it's crucial that you find a physician who's a great treating provider, but who's willing to support your claim by filling out these forms. Before you stop work and apply for your benefits, you should have an off-the-record discussion with your physician to learn whether they support your claim and whether they would be willing to fill out residual functional capacity forms. You need to know sooner, not later, and not after the carrier has denied your claim. If you find that your doctor is not supportive, you need to find a new supportive doctor now, and establish a treating relationship with them, and then in several months, ask them to fill out the forms and then stop work and apply for your benefits. Don't do it the other way around. Got it? All right, let's take a break.